Hi, Munirah. Good to meet you.
Hi, Stefan. Thanks for inviting me. I'm pleased to be here.
Great pleasure to talk to you. Tell us a little bit about yourself. Where are you and who are you?
Well, where am I? Geographically, I'm in Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia, but where I am existentially in life, I am basically a retired academic, now 2 years. I'm still searching in terms of trying to create a lifestyle that isn't governed by stress. And because I've had a pretty stressful career in academia. Having retired just 2 years ago, I think I'm happy about that. But at the same time, I'm too young to be retired. The transition, as volatile and as problematic as it has been filled with rowing. I took it up a couple of years ago and I'm pretty much hooked. It has been my go to therapy for the last 4 years. We can talk about that later, but that's basically where I am and who I am currently.
Well, I think it's a healthy addiction. Tell us a little bit about your background in sport and fitness.
As a schoolgirl, I grew up in Singapore, and from the age of 9, I used to run track. And 1972, I think it was my first track event, and it was on grass. I ran barefoot. I ran the 400 meters and I won, and it was just the beginning of the next decade or so of track. So that was my first introduction to discipline, waking up at 5 in the morning, training, going to school, coming back, going again to the track to do weights or speed training or fartleks as they called it. But I would not have succeeded if I didn't have this older sister of mine who is actually 18 years older than I am. And she used to get up, wake me up, sit outside with the stopwatch. This was in the 70s in Singapore. We had a stopwatch. We didn't have all these watches.
Yeah.
Um, and she would sit there at the top of the hill where we live, and she would make me do 300-meter runs up and down the hill. It's really nostalgic because she's 80 years old now. She has some medical problems. But, that's my memory of how I enjoyed running. Well, I didn't enjoy it so much at 5 in the morning, but it instilled in me a sense of discipline and how it made me feel after successfully completing an hour and a half of a workout. You feel a sense of accomplishment. Of course, there's the endorphins, admittedly, but I can go through the day. It's okay. Nothing else matters because I managed to do this at least. And, that's carried me throughout my life. I've been through quite a lot. Many of us have, but sport seems to always save the day.
And you play golf as well, I think. Is that right?
Yes, but you know what, Stefan? A month ago, I sold my golf clubs. I sold my golf bags. I decided that I want to just focus on rowing. That's it. I decided I just don't want to be a jack of all trades. I just want to focus on one thing. But I enjoyed golfing because I was able to walk. I walked 9 holes, I carried my bag. But when the pandemic came, we had a series of lockdowns. We couldn't go outside. So that's when I decided, what else can I do that's indoors? And what came along was the C2, the
Yeah.
concept to erg, and that's when I got into it.
I think distance is your thing. Is that right?
Actually, I'm comfortable with distance, but of course, they don't have the big competitions in distance. But I'm still learning how to use distance training to help my speed. I used to not be able to row at 20 or 18 strokes per minute, but now that's what I do, and I enjoy it. I really enjoy it. I do like the distance, but in when I was a runner, the sprints were my thing. 200 meters especially was the thing, was my pet event. To take you on a journey after my school years, I left Singapore and went to the United States. I studied there. I went to the University of Oregon. I thought maybe I could continue my training. Of course, I never qualified to enter any team. I got carried away with studying and taking part in academic activities as opposed to training. So that fell to the wayside. But then for my graduate studies, I went over to New York, to Columbia University, and I decided to run the marathon. I decided, well, let me try running long distance. So I spent about a year training for it. I didn't do well. I mean, I finished in 4 hours and 3 minutes. I mean, it's really nothing to scream about, but it was an accomplishment. Very long distance compared to 200 meters. But I was just happy that I was still active, physically active. About rowing and the long distance, yes, I still want to compete with myself and keep achieving new personal records and personal bests in the longer events. But of course, I also want to compete. So I need to do the 2000. I need to train well for the 500. And there's so many diamonds who are doing it all the time, over and over again. And I just hope I can catch up.
I'm sure you can. And this month CTC is will be particularly challenging, I think, for you.
Yes, it will be.
And you have a major development with your relationship with Allianz, I think.
Yes. Well, this company has been really supportive of me. Nothing is in stone yet, so we may not want to talk too much about it. But basically, in Malaysia, um, we have a very progressive, forward-looking minister of sports. She's very interested in building up the masters level, and she's very concerned about the health of retired folks like us, and she's trying to promote senior citizens' involvement in sports. So in that connection, I'm very happy that Malaysia is paying some attention to it, but it's
Mhm.
not in all sports. So it's basically in events that have Olympic potential. I think many countries are like that. If you can bring home an Olympic medal, that's great. Erging isn't an Olympic sport yet. Hopefully, it will be. It may be part of esports. But until it happens, I need to look around and scramble for sponsorship because as a pensioner, it's expensive. It's expensive to travel. It's expensive nutrition wise as well. You need some extra nutrition. But yes, I'm getting some private sector help, and hopefully that will be finalized. Eventually, when and if that works out, I may be able to expand my participation in events, in championships. I may be able to go to Australia and participate and gain experience that way, which is what I crave actually, because I'm the only one in Malaysia of my age group and my gender doing this, and it can get very lonely. It can get extremely lonely.
I'm sure your example will inspire other people coming through. But I mean, Malaysia is surrounded by water, and rowing is an Olympic sport. So hopefully the dots will join up sometime.
Yeah, I'm hoping. And, I'm really glad that there is this attention paid to the master's level. So, give it time. I'm a very patient person, but of course also ambitious. And I am 62. I want to accomplish something by the time I get to be 64, because after that, I get to another age group, and who knows what's going to happen there. But I'm as far as the diamonds goes, I'm so grateful to have the competition there because they keep me going. I mean, we have the older bunch who are much older than I am, who are breaking world records. And, I'm thinking, scratching my head, my God, how can I do that? And I'm at least 10 years younger among some of them. So, I have no excuse, really.
But let's go back to your career for a minute or two. What has been your career?
Well, basically, I'm an academic. I'm a scholar who has been a professor throughout my 22 years in the public higher education system. But I'm not just teaching in the university. I also write about developments in the country that go on. I guess you can say politics, but also anything that's connected with higher education. So I write very much about that. People ask me why I lived in New York for a long time, and many people have asked me, why did you come to this part of the world? Why did you come to Southeast Asia? Why didn't you just stay in New York? Well, after my late husband passed, I decided, why not go back to where I'm from, the region where I'm from, because there's so many problems there that need solving. I mean, that's one way I was looking at it. There's something to do, something challenging. I wasn't telling myself that I have to solve everything, but at least I have a role to play, and that's why when I moved to Malaysia, I decided, yeah, I'll go into academia, and let's see what happens. But mind you, I only developed this way of thinking the second half of my career. What they tell you is, as an academic, you probably grow after the first 15 years or so in the career. And that's why to retire at the age of 60 is a crime, because we're just beginning, you know.
We're just warming up, Munirah. Your description about how you've taken responsibility to push your career is the same as your answer about how you've taken up rowing and you want to get better at it. So there's something within you which is about taking on a challenge. Nobody's asked you to do it, but you want to go out and do it.
Yeah, I guess if I was a man, the general view is that yes, he's an ambitious man. That's great. That's a great quality. In some parts of the world, when a woman like me has that kind of ambition, you don't get much support. You get comments like, "You're retired, just take it easy, grow a herb garden or tend to your grandchildren." I don't have any grandchildren, but that's the attitude in some parts of the world. And that's why I go back to being part of the diamonds. I meet so many of people of my age or of my experience who have a similar ambition. So, yes, I am ambitious because I feel that I still have something to do. I may not be good at it, but I can still do something.
Yeah.
And so rowing and continuing my academic contribution. So I'm writing a few books. One is coming out in a couple of weeks, actually. And yes, before you say it, Stefan, nobody reads anymore. I know that. But I'm not writing books to sell and make money. I'm writing because I chose to do it and I like writing. End of story.
And I understand your father was an academic and some of your family too.
Yes, yes. My late father, in fact, growing up in Singapore with him, yeah, he shaped the way I think about everything in life. I have an older brother and a younger sister, and both of them are also academics. Of course, they might be more profound and advanced in their own fields. But in terms of my particular relationship with an academic background, I've always tried to use sports as a way to think about why I feel I don't know enough. Growing up in that academic environment, you feel that, wow, I just don't know enough. My father's talking about this article at dinner table. My brother and my sister might be commenting about something related. I'm quiet because I don't really know enough. But then the next day, when I wake up at 5 and I train, and then I go to school, and then I train again in the track, I'm telling myself, okay, I understand what's going on. I understand what I need to do, what I need to read. So now, can you understand how I've used sports to overcome my insecurities and maybe my lack of confidence? I would say it's helped, but I'm still doing that. I still lack confidence in some areas. I still feel I don't know enough. Although sometimes it's just 10 minutes on the erg where, I also hate it because I don't have the mood to erg, to row, but it still helps. Something physical helps.
I'm sure it's a better position to be in to feel that you still have more to learn and more to do than the opposite of feeling that you've done everything and you know everything, which you never will.
Yes, and trust me, in this age of social media, you get a lot of those people who think that they know everything, and they're out there to just make you feel bad about yourself. Yeah,
Yeah.
thank goodness I don't buy into that.
Yeah. And your academic interest has been in geopolitics and diplomacy, I think, but you haven't become a politician.
No, no, I will never do that. My graduate studies at Columbia was in history. I've always looked at history as the root cause or effect of what we experience today. History is the foundation of everything. So it's not even political science. But as a career, I veered into work on international affairs, geopolitics, diplomacy. So, career wise, I've done that, I've taught it, and I'm still involved in critiquing politicians. I will never become a politician because, um, without trying to sound egotistical or rude, I think I don't have an ulterior motive to control and to project my own way of thinking, which is what politicians do. I
Yeah.
mean, I am concerned with normal, ordinary folk like you and I, and how we need to survive. How we need to survive the politicians.
Yeah, I think it's very neatly put because politicians have a level of confidence, maybe arrogance sometimes, that you've just described you will never have.
No. It's up for people to have their own opinion about whether I'm arrogant or not. I mean, sometimes, when I post my diamonds Facebook posts, I feel happy, and then I write and I enjoy writing. I can't comment about what others might feel, but in social media, words have a way of impacting the reader. Interpretation is very important. So I write about how I feel good about my timing that day. Others may interpret it as I'm boasting about it. But I don't get that feeling in the diamonds, you see?
No, I don't think that's there at all.
It's not. But if you go to Facebook and other chat groups, there's that constant what would I say? It's a constant defense mechanism that's up, and so I have no time for that.
No, I agree with you. I think that when people post what they've done, it's sharing the joy of having done it. It's just great what you've done. Keep doing it, and
Right.
we enjoy it for you.
Yes, yes. And I'm so envious of many of you who have taken a vacation and crossed the Atlantic and visited each other and met fellow diamonds. And I'm hoping to do that one of these days. To hopefully meet somewhere in the world. I'd like to meet one of you at least.
Yeah, yeah. No, I understand. And Gary Aitchison, I think, is in Scotland at that
Yes,
night. I talked to Craig Birchmore recently, who wants to have a camper van with a rowing machine in it and go and meet diamonds and row with them. So it is something. There's something social and
yes.
draws everyone together.
Right, right. Well, that's something I miss in Malaysia. I don't have that yet, and I'm constantly looking, and I will just sometimes in a conversation on something totally different, I would just interject, about rowing, and it never catches. It never catches on. So, trust me, Stefan, I will keep trying to get a community going, but so far I've been failing.
Yeah, it'll happen. What do you want to achieve next in your own rowing? What are your goals?
Well, okay. I definitely want to break 8 minutes in the 2000. My personal best this February was 8:39. I want to break 8 minutes because I think I can. I just need to do the training. Also, because the diamonds are keeping me on my toes. I mean, that's the truth of it. And, in Asia, I am pretty much up there, but my goal is the next World Championships, which is, I believe, going to be in the Netherlands. I would like, if I get the sponsorship, to attend, to go and race and see if I can make it. I'm going to keep trying until I'm, I don't know, 90, 85 years old. I'll just keep trying. That's what I want to do. But I don't know if it's a pipe dream really, but for the next year, I would like to break 8 minutes. I don't know if I can, but that's it.
And are you coached at all?
No, I am not coached. And this is the other problem. I have met a couple of coaches within the last few months, but they are on water coaches. And in Malaysia, there is the associations have their own bureaucracy, and the national team, of course, has its own bureaucracy. So I'm unable to get in. It's a matter of getting acquainted on a personal level, which I've done. So I guess I can. I'm heading that way to getting a coach, and we'll see how it goes. I'll keep trying, but that's the way it's been fun since I took it up in 2021. I've been just sniffing my way through it. And this is where I am now.
And have you discovered the right balance of rest and recovery?
I think I have. I think I have. Sometimes it throws me off though. You know, when I look at the training plans and then I figure that I need 2 days rest. I can't do with just one day. I don't know if you notice this. I often post questions and I say, I just don't think I can do the next day. You know, I need 2 days. I feel bad because there are 75-year-olds who are working out 6 days a week, so I'm getting used to that. I'm getting used to the idea of listening to my body, which is actually a revelation, and again a confidence in just because I need 2 days as opposed to one day rest doesn't mean that I'm a lesser athlete. I'm happy about realizing that.
Yeah. Listening to your body is a theme that comes across when talking to the diamonds. There is, as the years tick by, the it seems to me that one of the secrets is to learn to listen to your body, which is not that easy to do sometimes.
Right, yes, and I'm learning that. And in fact, one of the good things about being in touch and constantly reading the experiences of various diamonds is how people do listen to their bodies. Now, one thing I haven't got down really is sleep. I need to sleep more. I need to sleep more and I need to drink water,
Yeah.
not alcohol. I need to drink a lot more than I am. And for me, dehydration is the problem. No, there's no excuse. I just don't drink enough. So that slows me down, upsets my training. I feel tired. I feel listless sometimes. I don't sleep well because of that. So I'm very conscious of that. And I'm conscious because I read it in the Diamonds group. I read about that a lot. I'm very grateful for that, really.
I saw you talking on a video about the value of informal education, and it was about something else completely, not sport. But I wonder if informal education is another word for amateur sport in many ways.
Actually, it is. It is. You learn a lot in terms of discipline, in terms of perseverance. My own experience with pursuing a goal and doing it in an ethical manner. You see, this is the whole issue of informal education is for me is connected with my whole take on the poor quality of education that our countries are facing. But basically it's about figuring out or knowing how to navigate the inconsistencies around you and doing it in an ethical manner. You don't need to upset people in your face comments, but at the same time, know how to guide them. Parents have to play a role. I'm noticing this in a lot of countries, including in Malaysia. Parents have a hands off relationship with their children's education. And this is a problem. No longer am I seeing children going through dinners the way I did with my father. We sit together at the table. There's no handphones at that time. We talk about what we read in the newspaper. Many times I never read the paper, and my father would say, didn't you at least read the headlines? I hated it at that time. As a teenager, I would hate being interrogated like that, but it's very important.
Yeah.
But nowadays, we don't talk to each other, we don't make eye contact. That's part of informal education too. telling people how to look at each other when you talk. And I live alone and I talk to my cat, but obviously I do enjoy socializing. But when I do socialize, I also notice many people just don't look at me, make eye contact. It's very upsetting.
But you have a background and you were brought up with discipline, some of which is self-imposed. If that disappears, then it is quite hard to get it back again.
Discipline is, I mean, if you're a teenager, discipline is a horrible thing. But when I was a teenager, I knew that discipline was a road to something else. I had an ingrained ambition to achieve something. I don't think you can learn that. It has to be something natural. And maybe that in that way, I'm lucky. I have an ingrained urge to achieve, whether it is to break 8 minutes or to write another book. I don't know. I do have that drive, but the discipline is important. I'm so grateful that I have it. And you need to teach somebody discipline, but there's only a limit to that. I don't think everyone has it. We'll see. I don't know. It's a tough one to deal with.
Yeah, but positive and vibrant communities like the Diamonds do engender discipline because you want to be part of it.
Yes, I mean, incredible discipline. And in fact, the entire rowing community, you have characters who are spending more than 24 hours on an erg. I enjoy that. I enjoy reading stories like that. And in the Diamonds, we have so many who are gung ho going to break a record. Come do or die, let's break a record. I love that. And this is what I enjoy about sports. Sports people have a different kind of character, and I really enjoy that. I realized my father was a big influence on me, but sports was not one of it. Having said that, he never discouraged me. Among the three of us siblings, I was the only one who basically excelled. My two other siblings did take part, but they kind of gave it up in their adult life and after marriage. My father never discouraged us, and particularly me. And I would always want to be involved because it teaches me how to have hope, how to have continue with the discipline and the confidence. That's the word I always go back to. Sports gives me confidence. Confidence to deal with people, to deal with challenges, and to have hope that I can achieve something.
Yeah, yeah, and erging combines experience and science beautifully.
Yes.
I don't think that's overcomplicating it, but just staring at the monitor on your machine for however long teaches you a lot.
Yes, and I took it up by basically with YouTube, okay? In 2021, at the end of 2021, when I purchased it, it was still locked down in Malaysia. We had a series of of lockdowns during the pandemic, and that was the end of the second series of lockdowns, so we couldn't go out. So I just purchased this online. They delivered it 2 weeks later, and I decided, okay, I'm going to learn how to do this. And I had blisters on the heels of my feet because I wasn't doing it properly, obviously. But, after several months, Rod contacted me. I'm not sure about when and why, but basically, I think I was posting questions on Facebook and I was posting screenshots of what I've been doing. And then Rod contacted me, and I'm so grateful for that, really, because slowly, I'm still learning the technique. I'm still learning about drag factor. I keep lowering it because I'm feeling that, I'm also trying to figure out if height has a problem, has an issue with drag factor. Why are some women who are older than me yet comfortable at a drag factor of 125, whereas I am comfortable at a drag factor now of 95, but I'm considerably shorter. So, I'm figuring all that out. And it's exciting. Thankfully, I've not been injured, for doing the wrong technique because I don't think I've gone too way off in terms of technique. And thank goodness for all the YouTube videos. It's wonderful. So I've basically taught myself and
And
still learning.
there'll be other people who listen to this who take something from what you've just said. So it's a process of continual learning.
Yes, yes. And the diamonds, one thing good about us is that we keep helping each other. We keep giving insight from experience, and many are actually professional rowers in their younger days and world record holders as well. So it's wonderful. I am happy about that.
It is wonderful. Munirah, fantastic talking to you. Thank you very much indeed for your time. Great to hear you talk about hope and the journey. We'll watch your progress with interest.
Thank you
Thank
very much, Stefan. Thank you.